Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this yoga practice. I'm so excited because this is my first chair yoga class that I've instructed, and I am really happy because I feel that yoga should be for everybody and for everybody, and it's always a wonderful opportunity to be inclusive so that everybody can experience the wonderful benefits of incorporating a yoga practice. So today it's not necessarily seniors yoga, it's simply yoga with the use of a chair. So if you don't have a yoga mat, no problem, because most of the postures we're going to do involve having a chair. If you do have a yoga mat and you're familiar with yoga, you'll notice a lot of the postures are the same. So if you do have a yoga mat and you are wanting to find the full expression of a posture, I'll always try to name the posture before we get into it. And if you'd like, you can always try the posture on the mat. And I'll try to give lots of opportunities for standing and sitting as we go through our practice. So I always recommend first. However, if you're trying yoga for the first time, if you have a healthcare professional you can check in with first, please do that, just making sure that yoga is the right choice for you at this time. Otherwise, I encourage you to always be listening to your body, knowing your limits, always get to the point of a whisper as opposed to a scream if we're in the middle of anything, and just being aware of maybe when we need to stop, check in with our breath, our alignment, and making sure that we're never pushing ourselves beyond what we're comfortable for today. That may be different than it was yesterday or tomorrow. We always need to be in the present moment in all ways when it comes to yoga. So we'll start by sitting on our chair and maybe coming midway or even to the end of the chair. If you're a little bit shorter like me, I have to come pretty far to the front of the chair so that I can make sure that my feet are planted and rooted into the floor. Maybe taking this opportunity to spread the toes. Unfortunately, you can't see through my camera. And we're going to focus on the breath at the beginning of our practice. And we can take this opportunity to close the eyes if that's comfortable, or maintain a soft gaze. So as we settle in, we're going to see if we can take this time to align the spine, feeling very grounded in our sit bones on our chair, keeping the eyes soft, the jaw relaxed, separating the teeth. Maybe checking in if the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And as we settle in here for our meditation, we can maybe consider taking one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly. And as we have our hands here centering and grounding our breath, we can begin to bring awareness to that breath and start to deepen our inhale and exhale. And as we explore this inhale and exhale, we can notice how our breath fills the belly, ribs, and chest and expands, pushing against our hand. And as we release, it's almost like we're pouring out a glass of water as everything empties, until once again we refill that glass, inhaling deeply, filling the belly, ribs, and chest, and exhaling, letting everything go. And as we continue to breathe, we can maybe even explore this idea of the Ujjayi breath, or sometimes referred to as an ocean breath or whisper breath. And it's the idea of inhaling and exhaling through the nose, almost feeling like you're whispering as you gently, almost as if you're fogging up a mirror. So inhaling and exhaling. Feeling that gentle, audible breath. As we continue to breathe deeply, we can check in with our body and check in with our mind and our spirit, and maybe notice what's going on. Is there any tension we're holding on to in our physical body? Or are there any thoughts, worries, or anxiety that are overwhelming us? Whatever we're experiencing in this moment, it's not a matter of turning any of that off. We can just observe our thoughts. And as we continue to experience these thoughts, we can allow our breath to nourish our body and give ourselves the permission to stay in the present moment as we practice together. As we continue to breathe deeply, we can begin to feel that melting feeling, allowing ourselves to surrender, taking this time to take care of ourselves so that we can be a little bit more peaceful throughout our day, maybe even take better care of each other. And as we begin to bring ourselves back to the room in our chair, we can maybe start to wiggle our fingers and toes, and maybe take the hands away from the belly and the heart. An option to keep the eyes open or closed, we can come into what we call Tadasana or mountain pose. And in this case, we're going to do it seated in our chair. And we're going to take the hands gently to our sides, keeping the shoulders back and down, and feel that openness in the chest as we root through the chair and our sit bones and our feet through the floor. And when we're ready, if our eyes aren't already open, we can open them at this time. And let's take this opportunity to roll our shoulders deeply forward, inhaling and exhaling, releasing all the way back and down. Let's try that a few more times. Again, inhaling, bringing the shoulders up, and exhaling them back and down. Amazing how little we do this throughout our day. Sometimes we're hunched over a computer, or cooking, or studying, and we just don't even think to incorporate this movement that is so beneficial to release and open our chest. Let's try that one more time. Inhaling deeply and exhaling, letting it go. Let's take our arms nice and wide and let's give ourselves a nice big hug. We're going to inhale and maybe tuck the chin into the chest, and exhale, release, opening and expanding the chest. Let's try that again. This time putting the opposite arm over top, inhaling deeply, hugging ourselves, and exhale, opening again. And although we can't hug each other maybe right now, we can take this opportunity maybe to even think of somebody that we're missing or that we can't hug right now. And let's let it be that person that we give them a big hug at this time. Again, reaching, inhaling so deeply, and exhaling. Let's try that one more time, giving ourselves one last big hug. And we can bring our hands back into mountain pose. We'll take this opportunity. Again, so often we don't move our neck. If we're not driving as much lately, let's check our blind spot. So we're going to inhale, looking over our right shoulder, and exhale, come back through center. Let's try that on the other side. Inhaling, looking over this time to the other side, and exhaling again through center. We'll keep doing that. And again, even the opportunity to, if we're getting tired in our mountain pose, we can bring our hands gently to grip the chair. Again, finding that mobility in our movement. And allowing ourselves to find that point where we're ready to turn back from side to side. Beautiful. Let's come back to center. And when we're ready, we're going to try the equivalent of what knees to chest would be on the mat. So what we can do is, if it's available today, we can gently bring one of our legs up, squeeze it into the chest. Maybe that's bringing the knee up, or taking yourself so that you grab the underside of your thigh and your knee. Bring it up, keeping our chest nice and high, and we'll release it back down. Let's try the other leg again. Inhaling deeply, feeling that squeeze, and then exhaling, lowering down. If you are available to it with a mat, you could do this on your back and bringing both knees into the chest, or one knee at a time. Again, always making sure that we're lengthening the spine. We don't want to be hunching our shoulders, keeping them nice back and down. Bringing that greater range of motion into our movement. Let's try one more on this side and release back and down. We're going to fire up our core a little bit. So taking our arms behind our head, we're almost going to pretend as if we're doing some crunches. So we're going to take our right arm over to our left side and bring it back to center. Again, we're going to exhale, coming through to one side and inhaling back. And if it's available today, we can even try lifting the opposite leg to the opposite elbow. So we can go slow, we can go fast. Feeling that dynamic movement, making sure that we're twisting enough that we're not hunching over, but just engaging our core, feeling those muscles contracting as we lift and lower and continue to twist. Again, this is also available on the mat. Let's try one more on that side. And beautiful, let's release it back and down. That was great. And now we're going to try cat and cow. So if we're used to yoga, we've seen this on our knees and on our hands. So the great thing is we can actually do this right in our chair. So we're going to take our hands just to our thighs, close to our knees, and we're going to inhale, gently allowing our belly button to fill. And as we exhale, we're going to slowly sit back a little bit in our chair, almost like our spine is reaching to the back of the chair. So again, inhaling deeply and exhaling, releasing. Making sure to not roll too much, but feel that gentle flow of movement, allowing ourselves to expand the chest as we inhale, reaching up, and exhaling. I'll even come to the side so you can see that a little bit better. So the inhale coming forward and exhaling, release. And this is called cat and cow. Excellent. Let's try that a few more times. And feeling that excellent mobility of the spine as we flow in between movements. And once again, we'll meet at the top in the center, and we're going to try to incorporate a little bit more movement. So if you've taken, again, a yoga class with me, we're going to move into what we call moonflowers. So we're going to keep the legs wide, and we're going to bring ourselves into a 5-star position, seated nice on our sit bones on the back of our chair. And we're going to inhale through the top and exhale, lower the arms down and reach back up. Inhaling to bring our arms to our sides and exhaling up. If we want to try this standing, we do the same thing. So exhaling, bringing ourselves into a wide squat and coming back up. Exhaling and inhaling. Beautiful. So we can try that again, whether we're sitting or standing, maybe both. You can change it up as we go. Most importantly, making sure that we're focusing on the breath and making sure that we're doing what feels right today. Let's try a few more of moonflowers. We're probably starting to feel it in our arms. That's great. And now let's switch into sunflowers. So it's very similar. So at the top, we're going to inhale And we're gonna exhale, hinging at the hips, and we're gonna swoop the arms underneath and come back up, almost like you're drawing a big sun with your hands. Excellent, same idea, inhaling and exhaling. And if we wanna try a few standing up, again, taking that wide stance, inhaling through the top, exhaling, bending the knees, swooping the arms underneath. Excellent. Let's try that a few more times. Again, finding that Ujjayi breath if we can, which stimulates the vagus nerve. And now, just for fun, let's try changing up. We're gonna go from moonflowers to sunflowers. Again, also the opportunity to wake up our brains, seeing if we can work on that coordination as we change in between each movement. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to sweat. Let's try a few more. Inhaling at the top, exhaling through moonflowers, and let's try one more sunflowers, hinging at the hips. And once again, let's release the arms back and down. Excellent, that was great. All right, let's try a gentle spinal twist. So we can do this many different ways. So maybe today is just taking this opportunity to bring our opposite hand to our opposite knee and gazing over our shoulder. We can even grip a little bit of the back of the chair to allow ourselves to find a little bit more of a gentle twist. And on our next inhale, we're gonna slowly come back through center. And again, let's try going to the other side. Instead of feeling like we're holding the posture, we want to see if we can flow through the posture. Again, coming back through center and flowing into the other side. Spinal twists are great for our flexibility and also range of motion. Again, those times when you're in the car and you realize you left something in the back seat, this is a great way to wake ourselves up and find that flexibility. And maybe if it's available today, we can even bring our arm over the other side, over the chair. And let's take a moment here to expand through this pose, inhaling and exhaling. And let's go to the other side. Excellent, we'll try a couple more over to this side. And let's come back to the other side. Wonderful. Now, again, we want to make sure that we're sitting a lot these days. Let's try reaching up. We're going to reach up over onto one side and feel that wonderful expansion in our side body. And if it's available, maybe even taking the bottom of the chair to ground ourselves and increasing that stretch as we lift, keeping the shoulders back and down, and see if we can wake up this area. Again, let's inhale and exhale that arm back down. Let's try the other side. So again, inhaling, reaching up. Maybe you're reaching for something in the microwave that's above the stove or something in a high place. And again, finding that beautiful expansion and release. Excellent. Let's try that one more time on each side. Again, inhaling and exhaling, lowering back down. Let's try one more time on this side. Inhaling deeply, reaching, seeing if you can send those fingertips to the sky, and exhale back down. Excellent. We're going to try our chest expansion. So again, we can take our arms behind us, and maybe it's just gripping the bottom of our chair. Maybe it's gripping the back of our shirt, or we can even take the back of the chair and allowing ourselves to expand the chest by bringing the shoulders back and down, and inhaling to see if we can open our chest a little bit more, feeling that broadness. Excellent. Let's take a few more breaths here. And when we're ready, let's release that, maybe shaking it out. Excellent. And let's get ourselves into another flowing movement. So we're gonna do what feels like almost like the beginning of a sun salutation in yoga. So we're gonna bring the hands to heart center into prayer position. We're gonna inhale the arms, swooping them up overhead. And we're gonna exhale, folding forward, making sure that we're hinging at the hips, and release. And then when we come back up, we're gonna inhale halfway with a flat back and exhale back down. On our next inhale, we're gonna swoop the arms up, almost like a reverse swan dive, and bring our hands back through heart center. Now that we've got the hang of it, we'll take it a little bit faster. So inhaling, reaching the arms up, exhaling, folding forward, inhaling, coming up halfway, and exhaling, swooping the arms back up. And again, if we find that we feel dizzy or maybe a little bit off balance, we can just go a little bit lower or not even come all the way down. Just do the arms and come back through center. Let's try that a few more times. So inhaling, reaching the arms up, exhale, folding forward. Again, inhaling halfway to monkey pose and exhaling, lowering back down. On our next inhale, we'll reach all the way up and exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Let's try that again, and I'll show the option to do it standing. So again, inhaling, reaching up, exhaling, folding forward with bent legs or straight, inhaling halfway and returning back closer to the floor. Again, inhaling all the way up and exhaling, bringing the hands to heart center. We're starting to feel some warmth. Let's try that one more time. Inhaling, reaching up, exhale, folding forward. Inhaling, coming up halfway with a flat back, inhaling back down. And let's once again come all the way up through the top and exhale, bring the hands through heart center. We're gonna do something really fun that I hadn't experienced before, and it's called bird of flight. So we're gonna take the arms nice and wide, and we're gonna inhale, reach those arms back, and then exhale, swoop the arms in front, giving us a hug. And again, inhaling again out, we're gonna bring the opposite arm on top. So it really feels like we're birds about to take off as we inhale and exhale, reaching those arms nice and long and coming back to center. And if it's available in our practice today, we can even do this standing up. So taking our feet so that they're parallel, we're gonna inhale, reach one foot back, and exhale, come back through center. Again, inhaling, reaching, and exhaling. It's beautiful. Let's try that again, whether we're in the chair or standing, feeling that openness. Again, almost this idea of embracing the sky. And let's try one more time. Beautiful. And we're gonna also try something called breath of joy. So I'll explain it first before I demonstrate it. Again, option to stand while we do this one as well. So we're gonna almost sip the air 3 times before we do a really big exhalation out the mouth. And the best way to understand it is if I show you. So I'll just remember that it's 3 sips of air through the nose and a big exhale through the mouth. So we're gonna go, right? It almost feels like it's a machine getting started. Let's try that again. Maybe you can try it with me this time. So inhaling, excellent, keep going. Allow yourselves to feel that release. Again, making the movement gentle where it needs to be. Maybe we don't come down all the way, and that's okay. It's more about that breath again. So 3 inhales, sniffing. Maybe it's a matter of letting go of whatever is frustrating right now. Inhale and release. One more time. Excellent. That was perfect. Let's again come to the front of our, I almost said our mat, our chair. And again, in mountain pose, let's just take a moment to settle ourselves after some vigorous movement. And then maybe again, close the eyes, checking in with our breath, allowing ourselves to relax just for this moment. And when we're ready, we're gonna move into some warrior postures, which is very exciting. So let's inhale, let's just do a swoop the arms up, and exhale, fold forward. Again, we're gonna inhale, looking up halfway, and exhale, fold forward again. On our next inhale, we're gonna bring the arms up, and if it's available, we're going to bring one leg out so that we're straddling the chair, rooting through the feet, planting our front and back foot, and coming into warrior one. So this looks familiar if you've ever seen some yoga on TV or you've done some yoga. So if we were to do warrior one standing, it would look like this. We're gonna just put it in a chair. And there's lots of options available for our arms. We can bring them to heart center. Maybe we wanna put them on our hips, or maybe we even wanna just do goalpost arms or cactus. It's whatever, you can choose your own adventure. So taking ourselves through warrior one, holding these postures in this way for 3 to 5 breaths is a great way to build our bone density as we engage our muscles, especially through the arms. And when we're ready on our next inhale, we're gonna take our palms so that we send them to the floor and open up into warrior two. Again, this is just like yoga on the mat. We just have a chair in front of us. So seeing if we can create that nice long line in the arms, extending the fingertips, and always remember to breathe, finding that Ujjayi breath, inhaling deeply and exhaling. Excellent. And when we're ready, we're going to exalt or do the reverse warrior. So let's flip the front palm open. And when we're ready, we're going to send that front palm a little bit forward. And on our next exhale, we're going to reach back to the other side of the room. So this is reverse warrior, or we often call it exalted warrior. And we're going to feel that wonderful stretch in our side body. If we feel like this is maybe a little bit too much for our back leg, we can actually bring our legs in at a 90-degree angle, and we get really the same effect. Or maybe we just want a different sensation. We can allow ourselves always to change up the feet. Or at any time, we could even maybe try standing up to do some of these poses. Again, finding the balance for today. And when we're ready, let's inhale. We're gonna bring that front arm to our thigh and do our side ankle pose. So we're reaching the fingertips long, allowing ourselves to gaze just beyond our other shoulder, and allowing ourselves and our face to feel soft. Excellent. And if it's available today, we can come back through center a little bit into our warrior two, and maybe extend our front leg out a little bit further. We don't want to keep it straight, but we can try a triangle pose. So this time we're going to see if we can create one long line, keeping our hands so that it's near our calf, and then opening the chest and expanding up. Excellent. Well done. All right, and on our next inhale, let's come back to that warrior two position. And when we're ready, we're gonna inhale, swoop the arms up, bring our feet back so they're closer together. And we're gonna come back through our forward fold. So inhaling, we'll swoop the arms down. And exhale, we'll look up halfway and come back to closer to the ground. And our next inhale again, we'll swoop the arms up, and let's try it on the other side. So we're gonna inhale, bringing that other leg back this time into, again, warrior one position. And maybe this time we'll try a different option for the arms. I'm gonna try prayer pose. So again, making sure we're sitting up nice and tall. There's always an engagement in the core as we're keeping ourselves perched, maybe even pressing gently in between the hands, opening the chest, seeing if we can sit up really nice and tall. Beautiful. And when we're ready on our next inhale, let's bring our arms up and take our palms so that they're coming towards the floor, and we'll come into warrior two this time. Again, seeing if we can take that nice long line. At any time, again, we can bring our hands to our hips if it's more comfortable, maybe bringing our hands to heart center, focusing on our breath, checking in with our body and how we're feeling today. Excellent. Let's take one more breath here. And again, let's exalt the warrior. So we're going to flip that front palm, reach a little bit forward, and on our next exhale, we're going to send that arm back, feeling that amazing stretch through our side. Again, creating dynamic tension that allows us to have more function throughout the day. It's often not until we have to reach for something or engage in an activity we're not used to, especially if we're spending lots of time inside. Those movements aren't as accessible because we're not used to moving that way. And that's what yoga is so beneficial for, so that we can find these opportunities to stretch out and engage those muscles. All right, on our next inhale, we're going to come back through center into warrior two, and let's bring that front arm onto that thigh. We're going to reach into side angle pose. And once again, maybe we just want to keep one hand on that front thigh instead, or we can come onto that elbow if it's available. Again, feeling that reaching sensation in the side body. Feeling powerful and strong. And on our next inhale, let's bring that arm back into warrior two. And let's see if we can experiment maybe bringing that front leg out a little bit more and coming into triangle pose. Just extending the arms up, reaching through the fingertips, expanding the chest, keeping our gaze up, and finding that gentle twist. Excellent. Let's come back up on our next inhale to warrior two, and bringing both of our hands to the front. Let's inhale, bringing the arms up, and exhale, let's fold forward. Once again, we'll inhale, coming up halfway into our monkey pose, and exhale, coming a little bit closer to the floor, maybe feeling how our posture has changed. And just for a moment, let's maybe take our elbows here and allow ourselves to maybe rock our head side to side, saying yes or no. And when we're ready, again, inhale, we'll bring the arms all the way up, and let's bring the hands through heart center on our exhale. Let's take the feet a little bit wide. We're going to try a little bit of a straddle stretch. So again, we're going to try inhaling, this time with our legs farther apart, and exhale, coming through center. And maybe we only come to here, we maybe brace our knees with our hands, or maybe we can come a little bit further, taking our elbows, this time finding that forward fold a little bit deeper with our legs wide. Excellent. Again, checking in with our neck, making sure we're releasing it. And when we're ready, we'll inhale, swoop the arms up, and bring the hands through heart center. And you may not be able to see my feet, but we're going to do what is the equivalent of butterfly. So on the floor, our hips would be on the floor, but we're going to actually just bring our feet together. So if I bring them up like that, they're going to look like this on the floor. And we're going to gently allow the legs to fall open. Again, we want to be nice on the end of our chair. and just allow the hips to fall open. Sometimes it feels nice to maybe cross one foot over the other ankle and allowing ourselves to sit up nice and tall, feeling that expansion through the hips. Again, we want this to feel like a gentle stretch. And if the legs are crossed, let's cross the other one over top just to get that different sensation. Excellent. And when we're ready, once again, let's bring our feet back to the floor, rooted into the floor, our sit bones nice and tall. And we're going to find that chest expansion again. This time we're going to do what's called camel in yoga. So we're going to reach our chest back, and you don't need to move, I'm just moving so that you can see me a little bit better. We're going to find 2 fists. We're going to put them just at the upper end of our bottom and reach that chest so that we're shining it up and taking our gaze a little bit up to the sky, allowing ourselves to feel that expansion. And the great thing is we're going to do something to do a great counter stretch in just a sec. Again, only expanding to the point that we feel is comfortable for us today in this moment. All right, and let's bring ourselves back to center. And we're going to try something called eagle. And this is a posture we can do in many different ways. We can do it standing, sitting, just the arms, just the legs, whatever we're feeling. So I'm going to demonstrate one way. The first way is just basically giving ourselves a big hug. So reaching the arms wide and bringing our hands so that they take the opposite shoulder or maybe the upper part of the arm, and tucking the head into the chest. We want to try a little bit of a different set of arms. We can reach the arms nice and wide. We're going to take the left arm under the right so that they cross, and we're going to take so that the elbows meet, and see if you can bring the hands together. So we call this eagle arms. And a great stretch is if you have a sensation of your upper back of taking your elbows so that they're pointing them up and out, just ever so gently. Excellent. Let's try that again on our next inhale, expanding the arms back out. Let's try the arms the other way. So on our next exhale, this time we're going to bring the right arm under the left, catching the elbows and seeing if we can bring the hands together. And again, if this isn't in our practice today, we can just give ourselves a really nice big hug. Let's try this one more time. We're going to expand the arms open again. And this time, let's see if we can cross our legs if it's available today. So we're going to cross our left leg over our right. Let's bring our left arm under our right and find those eagle arms again, finding the elbows and maybe even finding the hands. Excellent. Again, finding that nice tall posture in our chair. Squeezing the legs together. And on our next inhale, let's release it, opening up the chest, opening up the legs. And on our next exhale, let's try the other leg this time. So bringing our right leg over our left, and again, bringing our right arm under our left. I'm doing it reverse for you. And finding that beautiful sensation as we come into eagle pose. Beautiful. Let's take the arms open wide again and release all the way down. We're going to try one more posture before we begin to come back into our relaxation and meditation. We're going to try tree pose. So this is a pose that we often think requires a ton of balance, but we're going to do it in a different way. So we can even do this seated, just bringing the hands to heart center and sitting up very tall, maybe coming a little bit further on the edge of our chair and just engaging our muscles a little bit more in our core. Or if it's available today, we can stand up and we can come to the side of our chair And we're gonna try gently rooting through our leg that's closer to the chair, making sure we have lots of stability with our hand on the chair, and maybe bring our hand to our hip. And when we're ready, slowly peel the heel off the floor, making sure on the foot that's still rooted in the floor, we're able to lift our toes so that all of the weight is in our heels, and bring that foot up a little bit over to that side, maybe finding the ankle or the calf and opening up that side. And in this case, maybe the goal is just to practice reaching and lowering. We often think about those times when we're getting in the car, how hard is it bringing our leg up in that way? This is a great way to increase that mobility, just reaching and lowering. And maybe even trying to see if we can hold the posture, maybe even taking our hand off the chair and finding that balance. Again, only doing what feels right for today. Let's try the other side. Okay, and if you have it, you could try this with a block too, to give yourself a little bit more support. You could use a large book if you wanted. So let's try that again on the other side. So our leg that's closest to the chair, we're gonna make sure that we have lots of support, rooting through that leg, putting our hand on our hip or wherever feels comfortable. And then again, we're gonna gently peel that heel off the floor, making sure we're standing nice and tall, and bringing that foot over to the side. And maybe just experimenting with lifting and lowering. If we have the block, hopefully we can see it in the video. You can even try just allowing that to open up the hip a little bit more as a way to have that support as you open up and expand through that. And again, we can even try lifting and lowering from here. Oh boy, you feel that. And if it's in our practice day, maybe thinking about holding that foot to the calf, maybe bringing our hand off the chair and experimenting with our tree. Again, always doing the right choice for today. Let's find our way back to the chair. And again, let's find that beautiful cat and cow that we found at the beginning, bringing our attention back to our breath. So again, inhaling, we're going to expand through the chest, bringing the belly button forward, and exhaling, drawing that belly button a little bit back. Let's try that again. Inhaling deeply, expanding through the chest, and exhaling, releasing. Allowing that flow of movement. Excellent. Let's try one more again. Expanding through cow and reaching back through cat. And once again, we're going to find that spinal twist. Again, inhaling, looking over one shoulder, bringing our opposite hand to our opposite knee, gazing over. And on our next inhale, coming back through center and releasing. Let's try that on the other side again, twisting over to that other side and coming back through center. Try that one more time on each side and coming back. Beautiful. Now, as we come into our final relaxation, we're going to try something that is a wonderful meditative process called the Kirtan Kriya. And there's a ton of research about it that has been done about the benefits to mental health, our psychology, and even Alzheimer's. And it has to do with the words we say, how we say them, and the hand gestures or mudras that we do with them. So the words that we're going to be saying are Satanama. Let's try that together. Satanama. And in Sanskrit, that means birth, death, life, or no, birth, life, death, rebirth. Okay? So birth, life, death, rebirth. but all we need to worry about is the sensation of saying the words. And there's a hand gesture that we do with this. And again, it's all about mapping the brain and finding that dexterity in our fingers. So what we do is we find our pointer finger and our thumb coming to our middle finger and thumb, our fourth finger, and our pinky finger. And let's try that a few more times. And then we match the words as we do this mudra or hand gestures. So we're gonna go sa ta nama, sa ta nama. And this has a beautiful calming effect. Now, if you do the full Kirtan Kriya, it's 12 minutes. So we're gonna do it for about 2 minutes. How about that? And actually, I'm going to sing it, and it's actually to the tune the first part of Mary Had a Little Lamb. Satanama, Satanama. So we're gonna do that for 2 minutes. So I invite you to close your eyes as we try it. Here we go. Satanama, 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 Satanama. And release those arms down. Beautiful. So the Kirtan Kriya, it's something that we may not have tried before, but it can take us into a really beautiful meditative place. It may not be for everybody, but definitely something to try at least once. Maybe you can try it at home too. So let's try one more really nice deep inhale as we reach our arms up. And exhale, let's fold our arms forward, hinging at the hips. And let's again come forward, inhaling, reaching up. And let's bring our hands through heart center. And let's take this final moment. Maybe we want to inhale or bring our hands to our thighs, or again, we can find that posture that we did at the beginning, putting one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. And we'll settle in here for a moment. Again, opportunity to close the eyes here, allowing our gaze to be soft if our eyes are left open. And again, let's come back to that deep breath as we inhale, filling the belly, ribs, and chest. And exhaling, releasing, letting everything go. Again, Let's try that again. Inhaling nice and deeply. And exhaling, releasing. As we take these final moments to rest, reflect, or maybe simply even observe, you can find that self and that sense of gratitude for taking this time for healing and peace, and that sense of calmness. And we can thank our whole self for playing with the idea of trying something new, being curious, or adding something to our routine to benefit ourselves in a positive way for our mind, body, and spirit. Taking this opportunity to release whatever we're hanging on to, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. Ever reminding ourselves that we can find that gentle breath to re-ground ourselves for that moment of pause and the opportunity to re-energize ourselves no matter where we are in our day or what we're doing in our activities. And remembering that taking this time can only benefit ourselves and others when we continue our practice and embracing this peacefulness. May we be well, may we be healthy, and may we know peace in our whole selves. Thank you so much for joining me today.